All right, so this one is for the educators out there, the educational advocates, homeschooling, teachers, all of those people. How do you teach any student? So what makes me an expert? I do not have a whole bunch of degrees, PhDs, EDD, stuff like that. I have a bachelor's in secondary education, but I do have 15 years of success teaching very diverse learners. And I believe that you can teach and you can connect your material to any student. I don't think there are any students that are unreachable. So how do you differentiate? And that's like the official term. And I think the first question you need to ask is, who is this kid that you're struggling with? Who are they? What turns them on? And I don't mean sexually. Like, what are they really into? What just gets them going? What is their passion? They might not know that, but that's the number one thing, is what gets them going, okay? That's number one. Where do they want to go? That's an important part of that. Like, what kind of life do you want to build for yourself? And a lot of young people aren't even thinking about that. Well, help them to think about that. So, what really gets them going? What turns them on? That kind of stuff. Where do they want to go? Okay? The second thing is, how does your unit, lesson, class help them get there? You need to connect that. Your job, educator, is a translator. You translate why your subject will help them in their life right now and in the future. My class, my subject, this lesson will make your life better. You have to connect that. How do I do that? That's your job. That is the job of a teacher, okay? So, how do you differentiate? Is you find out really who this student is. Get to know them. Get to know what really winds their clock, okay? And then, where do they want to go? And then you connect, here's how learning this kind of math or this kind of science or this history lesson or reading this book will help you get there. If you BS your way through it, they will pick up on it. Kids are walking, talking BS detectors, so they will pick up on it. You can't BS it. If you don't know how this is going to help them in their life, then you gotta figure out something to do. Then your job is meaningless. That sucks. So figure it out. There's a reason why states have these standards. They just get forgotten. There's a reason why we teach calculus. There's a reason why we teach chemistry. There's a reason why US history is important, or civics, or literature. There's a reason why you read Great Gatsby. You gotta explain that to these kids. That's how you differentiate. You get to know the individual student. You find out what gets them going. What is their real passion in life? And that can be very difficult. You have to invest some time in this. There's no shortcuts to this process. Where do they want to get to and why? And then here is how your class and you and this lesson will help them get there. If you are able to do that, I have found that will overcome many different kinds of learning differences. Kids who struggle with attention deficit, kids who struggle with auditory processing, kids who struggle with dyslexia, all of that kind of stuff. It is much easier to overcome. It's still very difficult. These things are real. These learning differences are real, but they are much easier to overcome if they are interested in where this is taking them. I use an example where I tell kids, if I walk you to a Starbucks and I say, hey, here's how you make a cappuccino, okay? And you go through the whole cappuccino machine. Kids are just like, I don't care, right? And then I say, well, imagine you go home and your parents say, you know what? Our family's about to lose the house. We need extra money. I pulled some strings. I got you a job at Starbucks. But if you lose that job, we lose the house, okay? So now, you go in, the manager says, hey, it's about to be the rush in the morning. If you mess this up, you lose your job. Your family loses the house. Let me show you how to make a cappuccino real quick. You will focus on that best you can. The pressure is on. You will learn faster. You might still struggle. Kids with learning differences might still struggle for sure, but they will put in extra effort if they can connect the dots to that. It'll make your job easier. There are no shortcuts, especially when kids have severe learning disabilities, learning differences, stuff like that, but this will help. And the whole process of chunking things down and all that kind of stuff, scaffolding, all of that will be easier if they understand why they're doing it, because kids with learning differences get so frustrated, they just say F it and throw it down, close the book. But if they know that this grind that they're gonna have to go through, which is much harder than it is for the kid next to them, that this grind is going to get them to where they want to be, they're more likely to go through the grind. And I have experienced this for 15 years with hundreds of kids, and I believe that the proof is in the pudding. I have connected with a lot of kids who other teachers weren't able to. So this is my process in doing it, and I want to share that with other educators out there.